All of you guys. It's the one and only the Gorilla Economist with the cowboy himself, the Algo Cowboy, and we are surfing the Algo waves. Thank you for joining us this morning on AlgoFactory.tech, where we're going to teach you not only how to trade, but also build the algorithms so that you can trade for a lifetime while you actually live this thing called life. And how do you want to get involved? Well, scan the QR code that's going to be on the screen or click the link on the description box. Join us. The largest transfer of wealth in human history is about to take place. Do not sit idly by on the sidelines and let it happen. Don't be a spectator, a procrastinator, or a masturbator. Just join AlgoFactory.tech. There you go, Cowboy. How's that?
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
We're going to get straight into the content here. So I understand nowadays people, they don't like the big, long commercials. So just go check it out. Zap the QR code, go to the website and the screen. We help people become traders, and that's that. Let's take a look at the week ahead. I usually try to, I start Mondays by looking at that. First of all, anybody's new to the channel, I don't generally trade Forex or anything else on Monday mornings. I wait for the market to open because usually over the weekend, there's been a lot of things happen for 2 days, and the market has been closed for 2 days. So with that, you're going to have a lot of money kind of waiting to do XYZ once the stock market opens, right? Once the New York market opens, there has already been the European Open, so there can be action if you're, in that part of the world at, I think it's about 8 a.m. UTC. But if you're in the U.S. trading, such as myself, oftentimes I'll be up at that time trading because I'm insane like that. However, if that's not the case, then I will wait until the New York Open, and once the money washes into the market, I'll start looking at trades based on that. It's just a lot of volatility. It's like its own news event. So if I get into if I'm in a swing trade, that's another story. Swing trades are kind of a higher time frame scenario, and those don't generally get affected in a negative way too badly by that kind of thing. But like a day trade, I'm not touching it until the market's open. So we've talked about that, but those day trades are on a lower time frame. And when you're on a lower time frame, that means that when there are things in the market that can move the market, like a news event or a market open, something like that, especially on a Monday, it can knock you out of your trade. Okay, so this is the beginner course. This is where we have beginner concepts. One thing I'll say is that don't let the term algorithm scare you. If you're trading without using some fancy computer code, you're using an algorithm. If you're successful, it's like 99%, going to be the case. So, that's what we do. We teach you how to trade. That's the end of it. So, we got March in the room. March is the homie. What's up, dude?
What's up, March?
So we got, let me see, Monday, not a whole lot of data. Looking at the screen here. We have some information out of Europe, very low-level stuff. There's a BRICS summit, which is great to follow. I don't know that it's going to cause a whole lot of movement in the market. It could. It depends what comes out of that. We got Robert Presas. Good morning, sir. Hi, all, he says. We have, so tomorrow is going to be probably not a whole lot. Wednesday, just after the London Open, maybe that hour and another hour after that, you have some data coming out. A lot of manufacturing PMI coming out. And then you have the US too. I guess that's all tomorrow. Those are listed as high impact events. Although what I've noticed in August, even with your highest impact events, it just doesn't seem to be putting a big dent in the market. As we've talked about, August tends to be a very quiet month. It's just because people are on vacation, people are taking their kids places, whatever it is. The world still revolves around the farm harvest calendar. That's just how it works. And it might be that way because of farming, or it might be that way because that's just what it's always done. But long story short, that's what it does. So in that case, a lot of volatility is going to be gone in August. If you are a reversal trader, or if you understand how to trade the range, then August can be profitable for you. Generally though, that's going to happen around the market opens or around news events. And those of you who have been listening to us for a while, Now, I'm not saying for you not to trade news events, because we don't give investment advice here. So we don't tell people what to do. You all have to do your own research and make your own decisions and talk to your own licensed investment advisor before you do that, because trading is risky and you can lose your money. But what I do is I wait for that news to happen before I trade. I don't trade beforehand. I've seen some traders that actually are pretty good at predicting it. I'm not bad at predicting it myself, but you're rolling an extra set of dice. You're always kind of rolling dice when you trade anyway, a little bit. There's always that factor of chance. So what we do is we distill it into a science, right? There's always the chance that your trade is going to stop out. So it doesn't matter how good your trading method or your algorithm is, there's always a chance that it'll stop out. Your best traders are going to lose a certain percentage of your trades, right? So there's always a factor of chance. What we do is we have a way of studying the market, studying whatever asset you're trading, studying whatever asset pair you're trading, whatever it might, or I should say currency pair you're trading, whatever that is, ETF, whatever you're trading. We go back through time and we have a way of studying that so that you can develop a way to take advantage of a level of statistical certainty. Okay, so if you do this properly, you're going to have an idea of what percentage of your trades are going to win and how to maximize that win mathematically. So basically that's what we do. And then of course you have your losses, you take them along the way, but your wins are going to outweigh those. So we do all that. Some nice words here from Valley Girl, and she's always in here with us on YouTube, and we appreciate that. So she's part of our group and has been from the beginning, and she is someone who is really starting from scratch. And so we really love to have brand new people who know nothing about trading and watching them progress as she has done. And just another thing to know before we move on in the week here, one of the things we'll do is while you're building your trading method, while you're building your algorithm, again, it doesn't have to be an auto trader, some computer code. It doesn't have to be that way. Most people don't start that way. That's kind of more of an advanced thing. But when you're building your trading method, the manual method, we'll go over that with you and we'll take a look at it and we will kind of see, okay, maybe you can streamline this and streamline that. So we don't just give you the direction and leave you alone. We'll actually guide you along the way with what we think as far as the nuts and bolts, what we think will help you, with your algorithm being a lot more smooth. Certainly from the data side. So moving on, Thursday we have unemployment claims, as we do every single week. It's a week over week metric. So using that will introduce some volatility to the market, but unless that number is way out there, it's not going to really make a huge difference. And then on Friday we have Fed Chair Powell speaking at Jackson Hole. So we're going to have Lagarde, Powell, and I think I'd imagine we had all the rest of the bank leaders speak. So the Bank of Japan usually will speak at these things. The head of Bank of England, all those people usually speak at these big things, but maybe it's just Chow and Lagarde. Chow, I always call him Chow. Fed Chair Powell. So we know they're speaking Friday. So what's going to happen on Friday is that the market is going to watch this and they're going to kind of dissect everything that these people say. Powell, and of course Lagarde, that's the euro and the dollar. And in this world, those two seem to be kind of on top as far as the currencies are concerned, the US dollar and the euro. They tend to work together in many, many ways. So people are going to analyze every little thing they say. It can be a little tricky to trade and, while they're talking, because they can sort of say one thing and then pivot to the opposite feel very quickly. So what I personally will be doing is waiting until their speech is done. Last I saw was maybe 15 minutes or 30 minutes. A lot of times it's like a panel. So let's see if it actually, I know Chowell is going to be at 8 a.m., 8:05 it says. That's Mountain Time, so that's 10:05 a.m. EST, and then 3 p.m. EST is Lagarde. That's so close to the end of the day, I'm not going to worry about how that's going to affect my trading, because on a Friday, I'm done trading early. I'm done trading probably by 1 or 2 p.m. EST. So, that being the case, let me silence my Telegram here. Give me 1 second. That being the case, I'll watch Pal when he's done talking. I might look for some day trade opportunities, but I don't generally hold positions over the weekend. I did this weekend and I got stopped out. It's just, I had a good trade. Here's what happens when you hold trades through market close or over the weekend. Okay, here's what you need to know. We've talked about this before. You can go back through our videos in the clips and you can see what the spread is. So I'm not going to explain the spread because you could just go to YouTube, go back through our videos and look for the spread. But when you do, you're going to find that you'll learn what the spread is. And when the spread gets wide, right, when the buyers and the sellers are really far apart, it's really easy to get stopped out. And I had a great EUR USD trade in on my personal account. It was small. And I made it small because it was the end of the week. And I'm like, I'll just hold it over the weekend. It's a small trade. It looks good. And even though it never hit stop, it shouldn't have. The spreads were really wide during the open and I got stopped out. So, this is what happens. I broke my own rule and I suffered for it in a very small way. And this is why we don't break rules. But sometimes we roll the dice when it's not very much money. However, I personally wouldn't recommend that. But then again, we don't recommend anything, do we, V? We don't do that.
No recommendations.
None.
Just opinions on what we do. That's it.
Yeah, just our own, what we do ourselves. And that's that. You have to do your own.
Because everything is a security, cowboy. Breathing is a security, according to Gary Gensler.
And breathing can cause, sudden adult death syndrome.
Yeah, it's a new phenomenon. It started in 2021. I don't know why it started or how it started, but all of a sudden, when I look at all the insurance actuarials, sudden adult death is just, skyrocketed 60%.
Yeah, and it's all-cause mortality. It's not just one specific kind of mortality. It seems to be a whole laundry list of sicknesses that people are now suffering and dying from. We don't know what it is. It's really weird.
I have no opinions. All I know is that their disease is it's a security. Even the fact that they have turbo cancer is a security, cowboy. Turbo cancer
is a security.
Yeah, that's what the doctors are calling it these days. Turbo cancer.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just so people are just getting like cancer all of a sudden, and there's a whole bunch
it's accelerated. You get it. You're going from like stage 1 to stage 5, and then to a coffin within a matter of no time.
Oh, geez. Well, yeah, I don't know, man. You got to be careful about what you put in your body, and I'm talking about food here, not talking about any medicines at all. Because medicine's good. Doctor says do it, then you got to do it.
Yeah, food is a security, so that
food is a security. Plunger is security.
That's also security for Gary.
Oh boy, Gary Gensler. Yeah, we'll see how long he lasts. I think you said he might be. Was it you or somebody else saying that Gary Gensler might not last too long in his current position? Huh?
It was me and Luongo.
Yeah. God, man, you gonna get Tom on again soon?
Yeah, I gotta. It's that time of the month. I gotta bring Tommy on.
Wow, man. Yeah, listen, everybody, go on over to Rogue News. It's roguenews.com, right?
Correct.
I'm going to put it up here on the chat here. And if you click on that, you're going to get, I'd say just look up Tom Luongo in general, but yep. Tom's going to be on sometime soon. And this guy has what I think might be the best estimation as to what's going on at the high level. Like, everybody talks about this, you got all these guys, these QAnon idiots. Forgive me if you're a QAnon person, but
hey, man.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, anyway, you got all these QAnon people. You got all these other people. You got people talking about the Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Catholics, everybody has some idea about who's running things, but I think that's all just, that's all just internet conspiracy stuff. Yeah. Tom Luongo actually hits it from a financial angle, and he seems to have a pretty good estimation as to, and you can see who's doing what. I mean, yep. From us to a certain degree, you have an idea of who's doing what, and that kind of tells you if there are camps and what camps they might be in. So keep your eye out on Rogue News for the Tom Luongo interview, and just go to Rogue News, listen to it. I'm on there every Thursday. Most of you already know that. So anyhow, and that's, YouTube, Twitch, the guys, you guys are on like everything, right?
Yeah.
I should say you guys. I should say we. You know,
Rumble.
Yeah, no, it's
Rumble,
good stuff.
bro.
So let me open it up to either people in the YouTube or over in our private group. See if anybody has any questions on any charts. And what I'm going to do is, while everybody is thinking of questions, I'm going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart, and you can see what I've put on here as to what I think is going to happen. And this has evolved over the past several days. You know, I thought price would make its way up to that 3. This is a Fibonacci retracement right now. So I'm going to back up. And I'm going to show everybody. First, I'm going to zoom this in so people can see. Give me a second. Okay, so now you can kind of see the numbers on the right. And, you know, price has certainly been waterfalling down. And we're in August right now. So what happens in August, as we talked about earlier, is that you will have... let me see. Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to that, Valgor. We'll take a look at that. Valgor asked in the YouTube chat, what's USD up to? We'll take a look at the Dixie. It's probably a good way to look at that. But first, we'll look at Bitcoin. So we had the big move down. And there was some story about, you know, oh, Elon did this or Evergrande that. But these, if you ask me, and this is just my opinion, it doesn't have anything to do with anything. You know, it might bring more of retail in to sell during this time. But at the same token, this was going to go down. And the day before it went down, I predicted that it would go down. And I drew the chart, and it followed the chart pretty well. It actually went deeper than I thought it would go. I didn't think it would go as deep as it did, but it certainly came right back up to the area that I predicted. But it's compressing, and it's just continuing to compress. So all the bulls are just continuing to get nuked. And if you watched on Algo Factory, I kept drawing, okay, it might go up here and head down, or it might just continue to head down. Like, those were two kind of options that I had. And as time progressed and price didn't make its way up, now it's just more likely it is just going to waterfall down. You might get a liquidity grab, right? But I took a look at the liquidity maps, and there's not a lot of liquidity up in this area to grab. And until there's really just a good chance that we see price continue to compress downwards. Not even make it as high as what I've drawn. I mean, it might even just look something like this. And generally, by the time it breaks, it'll even go down faster than this. It'll just head straight down. So, you know, that it might even just look like that. So, you know, any of these scenarios is kind of possible, but the compression is just really, really strong right now. We may never see price pop up as in these alternate routes that I drew with that dotted line. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. And now the Fibonacci tool, of course, I drew from the top of the move down, at least the way I kind of see it. There's a little play in how you could do that. And I was thinking the price might jump up and hit the 382, but you know what? I mean, if you look on the lower time frame, it kind of already did. So, and it doesn't always come up to the 382 after a big fall, but in this case, and you can see here this yellow line that says the 382, right? So I drew the Fibonacci tool. Let me start this over so everybody can see me draw the Fibonacci tool. Okay, so to grab my Fibonacci tool, and I'm going to start at the top right before it fell. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom of where it went down to, which is down here. So I'll draw a line from the top of where it began down to the bottom of where it ended, and that's called an impulse. And let me make that yellow so everybody can see it. So that yellow line is your impulse, right? And I used in the impulse, I use a couple of different tools, right? But one of them is the Fibonacci tool, and I go from the beginning to the end. I start at the top, I click the button, and I take it all the way down, and I click it again. And then price generally wants to return to some of these levels that I have mapped out. The 382, the 0.5 is not a Fibonacci number, but it's always on there because people look at the 0.5. So people are going to, it's going to affect trading, right? Even though it's not a true Fibonacci number. You got the 618, 786. I have these up here. So if price heads down and does not break this bottom of the original end of this impulse, price can still head back up to these numbers based on the Fibonacci. But if it breaks this and stays below it for several hours, then that might be invalidated, and the impulse has continued in a higher time frame. So for now, whatever price does down here, if it does not break this 25,000, it's almost exactly 25,000. If it doesn't break that, then there's a good chance it's going to pop back up to 28,000, 28.7. Those areas are still in play. However, if we look at the liquidity chart, we're going to see most likely where price is going to go. I'm going to go ahead and copy my referral code for the Kingfisher, and this is a great site. I do recommend this data. Now what you do with the data is on you, but I do recommend this here. So Control C, see if that works. And so I'm going to put this in the chat on YouTube. So go ahead and use that referral link if you care to use this. And also, you can use it for free. If you want to sign up, though, it is worth it, because if you're really doing a lot of trading, you get unlimited looks at liquidity, and then you get this GEX Plus, which is a great tool. It's for options. And, I can show anybody in our group how to read this. It's actually not as complex as you would think. You start to see things like this and you're like, oh man, this is crazy. But, I can help explain that. We're not going to get into it now. We do have a little bit of liquidity here, right? So, I'll go ahead and zoom this in a little bit on the chart side. It's just a little bit sitting at about the 26.2, 26.3. It's not very much liquidity, but it is there. It's 26.2, 26.3. Now that's the all leverage, but we can look at high leverage and see if there's anything else in the area, right? So we had some 26.2, 26.3, and then we have a little bit actually sitting at about 26,070, so 26,070. There's some high leverage longs, right? So basically, these are your crackheads, trading at 100x leverage on Binance or whatever it is, right? 100x. I don't know what the cutoff is, but this is high leverage. So you do have some crackheads hanging out at about 26.1 to 26.80. It's a very small range, but it is there. And then you have 26.2 to 26.3 on the all leverage, right? So let's take a look at the chart and map that out, right? So all the way from 2680, if you combine those two areas, it's all the way from right where price kind of is, not too high, not too much higher than price, all the way up to 26,300, right about here. So where that square is right now, there is liquidity. So price could just make one of these little kind of moves up into that. And then once price moves up in and goes as high as the top of that box, which is basically where the top of this wick is right here, that could be a place to short on a lower time frame if your algo tells you that price is going to continue down and not pop up to this 382. So that's just if your algo tells you that price is really going to continue to compress, then waiting for price to go up to say 26.2 or 26.3 is not a bad idea if your research tells you that. And right now mine kind of does. But I am waiting for some things to happen on my algorithm before I enter a short. So, and it's a dangerous time to enter a short for me, by the way. There's my rules have it to where I could only put a small amount of money because this is a low probability scenario. Now that we are almost out of time, I will take a brief look at the dollar, the Dixie. So the DXY is a chart that talks about the dollar in relation to other currencies, right? So it's dollar strength, but it's not like dollar strength in general. You probably want to look at gold or, the dollar against some commodities to kind of understand dollar strength in the real sense, right? But against other currencies, the Dixie is a good measure. So I'm going to go to the high time frame. We're going to go to the 3-month. We're going to look at price in a very high time frame, going back to 2007. And I can tell you the dollar's not doing much. It's August, so nothing's going to be very active. Dollar is kind of seeing a bounce right here, probably related to this older, area right there. You have some liquidity from back in the past, probably some liquidity on the way up. My fixed range doesn't work on the Dixie, so I can just use fibs. The price has an impulse up, so we'll draw the impulse like we did with Bitcoin, where price came up since January of 21 and now is coming back down. And our fib tool is going to take us toward the 618 is right where price bounced. See that 618 off this old liquidity, price bounced right there. Now, what's going to happen with it over the next few months, that's hard to say. We're in a very high time frame. But if I were to go ahead and come down on time frames a little bit. Okay, so let me actually, that's too low. That's the 3 hour. I mean, too low for our purposes. We'll go to the 18 hours, basically like the daily time frame. Price is just in a range, and I don't expect that necessarily to change. It did deviate a little bit out of the range. In fact, it's almost more like a channel. So price seems to be kind of pulling one of these right now. It doesn't mean it's going to continue to do that, but you know, this area back here, this block that I drew, is going to be something with which price must contend. Plus you have down here at this 94 is where price will also want to bounce. So if price does continue along these lines, and it very well could, then we might see price head down that channel. If it doesn't, then price is going to build a range. But whatever things do, unless there's an event, I don't see a lot happening with the dollar. So for now, I just would say, you know, price may either come up to this level right here and want to turn around and head down, or perhaps on this channel, it might want to flip here. I'm not really big on channels, but there is this level right here where price tried to rally up and got rejected. So, you know, over the next several days, we might see a turnaround in the dollar and head down, which would be good for stocks and things, and other assets. So that's the dollar for now, and that's all we got time for. Gorilla, can you give us the send off, and we'll head over to the private group? Gorilla.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Sorry about that. My thing just cut off for a sec.
Oh,
what
no
did you
worries.
say?
We're done for the live YouTube.
Gotcha.
We're gonna head over to the private group and talk about all the real secret stuff.
Absolutely. Give me 1 second. I just gotta configure my network real quick. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Well, while V's configuring that network, I'm just gonna take another glance at this algo. The dollar wants to go up short term, so I wouldn't, you know, just based on what I'm seeing on the 18-day. Let me see, or the 18 hour, I should say. Let me take a quick look at the.
Hey, how do I sound? Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, clear as day.
Good. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, you want me to send it off?
Yeah, please.
All right, guys, listen, here's the deal. Thank you for listening in, and don't just sit on the sidelines watching us and what we're doing over here. Join us, algofactory.tech. You're not only going to learn how to trade, you're going to learn how to build an algorithm. You're going to learn what the markets are all about. You're going to understand what the economy is all about, what the world events that are happening, that are shaping the markets of tomorrow. And you'll be better positioned because you're going to capitalize it right here on algofactory.tech. And Cowboy, with that being said, let's get into the private room.
All right, here we go.